So good afternoon all. A very warm welcome to all the attendees of this session. And it's now time to introduce the speakers of the day. Dr. Monica Gulati, Executive Dean, School of Pharmaceutical Sciences and Registrar, Lovely Professional University. She's having more than 25 years of teaching, industry, research and administrative experience. Having completed her B Pharm AC, M Pharm AC and PhD from UIPS Punjab University, Chandigarh, Dr. Gulati served for 2 years in the R&D department of Panikia Biotech. Shifting later to academia, she has served for more than 18 years in LPU in various academic and administrative roles. Her research forte is enhancing bioperformance of drug molecules, phytochemicals, and probiotics, metabiotics, and other biotherapeutics, using conventional and novel dosage forms, especially in the area of colon targeting. She holds a keen interest in the quality control parameters of delivery systems. She has more than 150 high-impact publications and 15 invited book chapters to her credit, with an H index of 28 and RG score of 39.43. She has been granted 4 Indian patents and 3 Australian patents. She is on the editorial and review board of more than 25 journals. I welcome you, madam. We also have with us Mr. Pankaj Vij, Head Department of Tie-Ups, Division of Admissions, Lovely Professional University. He holds a master's degree in management with keen area of interest being training and development. He is having over 19 years of experience in multiple domains, including teaching, training, and operations. He has occupied strategic positions in multiple organizations of repute. I welcome you, sir. And it's now over to Dr. Monica Gulati, Executive Dean, Lovely Professional University, for content of the day. Over to you, madam. I would request madam to just unmute yourself.
I hope my PPT is visible.
Yeah, madam, it's all well. You are audible as well as visible. Thank you.
All right. So we are here to talk about the opportunities for the pharma graduates, in the profession of pharmacy after the entire unfortunate, happenings for last 2 years now, after the pandemic that we have all gone through, which we called it as COVID-19 somehow, and as you know, we are already in 22. So the unfortunate incident lingered on for 2 years, and somewhere down the lane, we were hearing that most of the businesses, especially those which were involved in transport and, uh, the property and obviously the entertainment business and, hotels and restaurants and eateries, they were all slowing down. But one profession that withstood this long test of time was that of pharmacy. There was no slowing down, rather I would say that, the profession went in a fast forward mode, because so much of the demand was there from all the corners of the world. There was so much demand, and then, the scientists, the pharmacists from India, they were able to prove their worth, they were able to prove their credibility by providing the medicines, and then finally the vaccine, which eventually led to the, I would not say eradication, but somewhat slowing down or prevention of COVID-19. So let us today find out why should we talk about the pharma profession, and why should you take the pharma profession, why should you take this as a career, and why at this stage? And then why should you, choose us as an institute to study pharma? And then what is to be done now? Meanwhile, I'll be, asking you for, if you have any kind of queries, I'll be happy to answer them. Then how to go about the things, and where to do all this. So first, let us talk about, the why should you choose pharma as a career at this stage? The reasons, apart from pandemic that I've already discussed, there was no looking back as far as the pharma professionals was concerned. And let me share with you, even the children, the students who were in their final year of graduation, they were also taken up by the government at in during the second wave, when there was a dearth of medics and paramedics. During the second wave, even the final year students of pharmacy, they were allowed to perform the supportive role, and they were without a degree, mind it, without a degree yet in their pocket, they were given an emolument of something around 10,000 a month. So such was the need and such was the value of the profession at that time. So apart from that, which has recently happened, we all know, we are almost 80% or 70% of the daytime we are sitting with our computers. The lifestyles are deteriorating. We are not moving out. The children are not playing. So lifestyles are going down, and that is actually affecting our physique also. It is affecting our body, because human beings were not supposed to, they were not made by the nature to sit and lie all the time. So as the lifestyle has deteriorated, uh, the food habits have deteriorated, mostly the children are into fast foods, so it is leading to lifestyle disorders. Lifestyle disorders will include diabetes, it will include psychological issues. So for the younger generation also, because I still remember, when I was in my tens or twenties, I was all the time, we would go out to play, we would go out to enjoy, because there was no other option. But today, if you look at the children, they are busy either with their computers or with their mobiles. So the lifestyle going down, the need of drugs has increased. We are now seeing that, people are dying of heart attack even in the age of 28, 29. The people you all know about that star who recently unfortunately passed away. The people who are going to gyms also, they are also inside not very healthy, and so on. So the drugs are in great demand. Another thing which is a positive sign is that people are now more health conscious. So, the kind of supplements which are available and which are consumed by people, they were not earlier wanted, or they were not even produced by the pharma industry because they were not in demand. So people are more conscious, they get their testing done more, they are into health supplements, they are into probiotics, they are into nutraceuticals, and so on. So another thing is, in last almost 20 25 years, the life expectancy in India has increased. Life expectancy means, the average life of a person was 53 years in 1980, increased to 62 in 2000, increased to 69, and then probably when we talk of 2040, it may be something around 75 at the pace at which it is increasing. So we have now more of the elderly people around in our country, and as you all know, elderly people require more of support, more of medical support, more of the supplements, more of the drugs, and so on. So this all has led to an increase in the demand of pharma products. Another thing is, as you all know, during the pandemic, there was a stigma which was attached to China. Initially, the 70% of the generic medicines were supplied to the entire world by India and China. So it is practically Chindia, they used to call it, because they dominated the global market for both raw drugs as well as for generic medicines. But as I don't know whether it is right or not, but China somewhere was held responsible for this pandemic, and many of the countries, they have kind of blacklisted China. They are trying to purchase the material from anywhere but China. So this is an opportunity for us, as the focus is shifting now from India to only India. And then fortunately we have already proved our credibility, because during the first wave there was an acute demand of hydroxychloroquine, which was fulfilled by the Indian pharma industry. And then India was one of the few countries which were able to roll out a vaccine in almost a year. Generally, development of vaccine takes something around 2 decades. But kudos to the scientists of uh, pharma industry of India, who were able to roll out a vaccine within a period of 1.5 years during the COVID crisis. This came immediately after the second wave, rather during the second wave only it started. So India was able to prove its mettle, it was able to prove its credibility. So the faith has been restored in the Indian scientists now, in the Indian pharma industry now. Then why is focus on India? First thing we were discussing, why now? Why should you choose the pharma profession now? But why should Indians choose the pharma profession? Because we are somewhere considered to be a very technically skilled and technically genius kind of people. You would see most of the computing skills and mathematical skills and technical skills, generally the Indians are supposed to possess them in high measure. And then credibility, as I told you, of China has been hit. There were, as you might be knowing, there were many testing kits which were found to be faulty and which were sent back. Then this was again repeated when PPE kits were obtained from China. Most of them, they turned out to be of very, very inferior quality. Then Indian pharma industry is already having approvals from US and European countries. US FDA and EU norms are already being followed by a large number of Indian companies who are already exporting there. So they are quite well versed with the phenomena of this, and they can scale up anytime. They can anytime scale up. Then we are, as I shared with you, we are good at data management, we are good at bioinformatics, and we are very good at compiling the things along with the IT infrastructure. IT infrastructure, India has one of the best ones in the entire globe. So these are the supportive roles which any pharma industry would need. So as we are already good at it, that gives an edge to the Indian pharma industry. And then the labor is not very costly here, so the best cost to product quality ratio can be obtained. People are good, people are skilled, people have good IQ, people are well versed with the bioinformatics and data management, people are well versed with IT infrastructure, and still they don't demand too much of salary like their US or European counterparts. So we are, and then you get the labor also. The labor also is available at a much less kind of salary. So it India can give you the best cost to product quality ratio. And then another very big advantage over China is that we are very good in English language. We as Indians can converse, we can write, we are taught to converse in English, we are taught to write and read in English, which unfortunately or fortunately Chinese people are not able to do. So that again gives an edge to India over the Chinese people. And then, as you know, contract manufacturing is already very well established. Contract manufacturing is when a company decides to, market something and gets it manufactured somewhere else, then uh, quality checks it, and then finally puts it into the market. So this kind of scenario is already existing in our country for last almost, since independence almost. So we are already well established in this kind of contract manufacturing, and it will not be difficult for us because we are already exposed to it, we are expert in it, to do the contract manufacturing for any country. Then what to do now? So we should, encash the damaged China brand. And then, something which happened during first wave of pandemic was that most of the industry was focused, most of the pharma industry, I would say, was clustered in either Gujarat or Maharashtra. And unfortunately, both these states were very badly affected by pandemic. So what the government of India has learnt now is that it should be uh, spread all over the country. So we have now started moving to Jammu, we have started moving to Baddi, and even Amritsar. I heard that some clusters of pharma industry will be created. So now they are spreading all over the country. So that should be our approach also. Then we should, earlier we were not very well versed with the production of vaccines, but see, we had to expand our manufacturing portfolios and we did that. Within no time, we were able to shift to vaccines also. Many of the pharma industries where there was no sterile units or vaccine production units, they also started it. So expansion of manufacturing portfolios is also very important. And then during the pandemic, the entire world was looking at traditional herbal medicines. And we all know that Ayurveda is the science which comes from India. So we should start somewhere, focusing more on the traditional Indian drugs, which are in great demand for the prevention of diseases, prevention of COVID also. And then our country needs to invest, our country, our institutes, our industry, they need to invest more in research and development. And then, of course, we need to act immediately. We should not wait. We cannot procrastinate at this stage. We have to act immediately. So if there are any queries from any of the listeners, I'll be very happy to answer those queries. If there are not, I'll go ahead. So now we are looking at, and how should we go about it? So let me share with you. The graduation degree in pharmacy is known as B Pharm, Bachelor in Pharmacy, and the master's degree is known as Master's in Pharmacy or M Pharm. And we have both of them. Then looking at the scenario, that I shared with you, that we should focus more on our traditional Indian herbal medicine also. We have started with B Pharm Ayurveda and M Pharm Ayurveda also. And then PhD is available in both, in the modern pharmacy education also and in the traditional or Ayurvedic pharmacy education also. And then, we are, after you get your degree in your pocket, once you are able to get the whatever degree you want, UG or PG, B Pharm or M Pharm, you can enter into any of these. These are the opportunities which are available only in the industry. Production is, again, you see, of two types. It could be the production of the drugs, like, you have paracetamol, you have aspirin, or it could be the production of the dosage form. That means the paracetamol tablets, the paracetamol capsules, the paracetamol injections, and so on. So production also would be of two types. So people who are more interested in chemistry can go for production of the APIs. That means the pure drugs. The people who are more interested in uh, dosage form design can move to the production of final dosage forms. Then, when we prepare the medicines, of course, we are administering them to human beings. We are playing with the health of humans. So we need to be very, very careful about their quality, whether they actually contain whatever is being claimed on the label, whether it is going to reach the desired organ, is it going to be effective very quickly, it does not have any side effect, and so on. So we have entire profile of quality control, again, because we are handling with the lives of human beings. So this is also a very important branch of industry, wherein you need to have very good analytical skills with the instrument, so that you are immediately able to find out if there is anything wrong with the material that has been produced. So somewhere, the people who are in the production are answerable to the people who are some in the quality control. Then looking at the failures in quality control all over the world, which eventually becomes very unfortunate, because then you have to discard the entire batch. And believe me, the preparation or the production of medicines is a very, very costly affair. So I'm sorry. Yeah. So because of that, another vertical of quality assurance was created, which basically ensures that all the procedures are being done in a right way. So if all the procedures are being done in a right way, the medicines which are obtained are of good quality, they are prepared, they are processed in a right way, then obviously, the batch will pass in the quality control. So this again is another option for the people who have a very keen eye. Then, when we are finally, the drugs are prepared, the final dosage form is prepared, we have to sell it. And as you all know, again, since we are dealing with the lives of the people, so the profession of pharmacy is a very, very highly regulated kind of profession. So every government, every country's government has different regulatory requirements. They would ask for different kind of documents from the producer, from the person who is involved in manufacturing. So the manufacturer has to provide all the data which is asked by the country in which you are going to sell your drugs. So there is another vertical of regulatory affairs, which is basically preparing all the data and submitting it to the governments. Then packaging, again, the stability and the quality of any medicine would obviously depend upon its packaging. If the packaging is appropriate, the drug will retain its quality, otherwise it may lose it. So packaging is another area which is coming up, and believe me, it is very rare to find experts in packaging. So this is another very big opportunity for the generation of new pharmacists. Then recently, we are shifting from the industrial pharmacy to clinical pharmacy also. Till about 10 years back, the pharmacy profession in India was mainly focused on the industry. Now, because of less number of doctors, one thing, and second thing, the pharmacological knowledge of the pharmacists being more than those of the doctors, clinical pharmacy is coming up very, very strongly. So it is now required that every hospital which has more than 100 beds is supposed to have, per 100 beds is supposed to have a pharmacist. So and their role is very important. They have to look at every prescription which is being given to any IPD patient, and if there is any problem, he or she, the clinical pharmacist, can call the doctor and tell him to rectify the prescription. Then this is another very interesting area, pharmacovigilance, wherein we discuss the, or we keep an eye on the toxic effects or side effects of the drugs or their packages, or even the instruments, or uh, uh, the syringe could be something, PPE could be something. It was reported recently that many of the PPE kits, they caused allergy to the patients. So all this, the allergic reactions, the toxic reactions, the toxic side effects, the toxic effects, they come under the area of pharmacovigilance. So this is also coming up in a very big way. Then we have the area of research and development, which, as you all know, that the new drug molecules are being found out, the previous ones are being restructured, they are being formed into different kinds of dosage forms and so on. Then we have this area of medical affairs. Medical affairs is when the pharmacist goes to educate the doctor, and this education is not just done during the visits. There are many people who are in the medical affairs department who are creating the written material or PowerPoint presentations to educate the doctors. So medical affairs department will handle to make the doctors of the aware about the latest developments, because their profession is such that they are very busy all the time. They don't have time to read the material. So the relevant material is prepared by the medical affairs department, in the form of literature, in the form of write-ups, in the form of articles, in the form of PowerPoint presentations, and in the form of videos also, and then they are shared with the doctors and the rest of the pharmacists, in fact all the medics and paramedics, so that their knowledge remains up to date. Then these people you must have already seen, sales and marketing people who will carry their briefcase along and visit the doctors. They are basically somewhere imparting the knowledge created by the medical affairs department to the concerned people, to all the stakeholders. And then we have this very beautiful department of product management. These are the people who are there in the product management who are teaching the sales and marketing people. So they will do all kind of research, they will learn everything about a product and then share that knowledge in the form of a small capsules with the sales and marketing guys, so that they are able to share it further with the physicians and the surgeons. Then apart from these jobs which are available in the industry, we also have a huge potential of entrepreneurship. Who would be, a better person than a person who starts his or her own industry in pharmacy? So we have different options here also. We have bulk drug industry, as I shared with you, when you are preparing the chemicals. So if you have a flair for chemistry, you can go for bulk drug industry, and then formulation industry. This can be started by any pharmacist. Uh, of course, there is an experience which is required after completing your graduation. You are supposed to work for 3 months. So the formulation industry is one where you will be preparing the tablets and capsules and so on of the drugs which are prepared by the bulk drug industry. Then we can open a testing lab for the QC. We can have a preclinical lab also. Now this is again very interesting. Before any drug which is invented or which is trial in the human beings, first it has to clear the trials in animals, in laboratory animals. So for that, we will carry out their effect in rabbits or mice or rats or guinea pigs and so on. So that is done in the preclinical lab. So anybody who is graduate or postgraduate in pharmacy is authorized to start a preclinical lab with approvals from the government. So that is another very big opportunity, as now many of the European countries and in fact the entire Western world is dumping its newly created drugs or newly created dosage forms into Asian countries to get their clinical trials done. Reason being, again, it costs them less, and then the ethnic population of India is such that we have all kinds of genetic makeup, so it rules out any kind of problem in a particular population tomorrow. So preclinical, if it is added there, it will also support the clinical trials. And then, as I shared with you, we Indians are generally very good at data management. So clinical data management is another option. We can start a clinical. In fact, in recently in North India, there has been a mushrooming of these kind of uh, organizations which are thriving on the clinical data management. So the payments are huge. It is a desk job. It is a purely white collar kind of job, and you have to do all the intellectual kind of thing. Then we have pharma writing. Again, a pharma writing company can be created wherein you will put everything which has been learnt in the clinical data management into words and prepare the reports. So this also earns a lot of money, because as of now the pharma writing companies are very limited. Then pharmacovigilance, as I shared with you in the last slide also, pharmacovigilance, if there are any kind of toxic reactions or side effects and so on, so a pharmacovigilance center can also be created. Then this is a new option which flourished, like anything during these pandemic times. So people stopped going to the shops, and then e-pharmacy, it flourished. We had 1mg and we had many similar kind of organizations which would ask you for prescription. You will just have to upload your prescription by the doctor, and they will supply you the medicine at your doorstep. So if we can have the food delivered at our doorstep, why not the medicines? They are more important, and they are required more quickly as compared to food. And then of course you can start the wholesale shops or retail shop in the form of a chemist shop. So wholesale is where you are basically selling it to the, you are procuring it from the company and selling it to the retailers. And retail shop would be, you will be procuring from the wholesaler and then you will be selling it to the consumers or the customers. Then there are many other options like drug control. You might have heard about the drug inspectors. And finally, the DCGI, the Drug Controller General of India. So these people, are very, very powerful kind of people. They have a right to enter into any industry or any shop unannounced at any point of time. They can order any shop to open their shop at 2 o'clock in the night also, because they are basically controlling that any kind of wrong thing should not be happening either in the manufacturing units or in the selling units. Then when we talk of insurance sector has also come up very strongly in last 3-4 days. If we talk of medical insurance or life insurance, now the people who are looking at the data of any kind of illness or why the death occurred due to which kind of illness are not very well versed with the disease process. So they need people who are expert in understanding the medicines and understanding the diseases. So it is a very good option for the pharmacy graduates. Medical coding is something which is now prevalent worldwide. So every treatment, every disease is given a code, and this is uniform throughout the world. So sitting at Jalandhar, you can do the medical coding for a company or a hospital which is based at Dubai, or which is based at US, or which is based at France. So medical coding is again, this kind of business I've seen is flourishing for last almost 20 years. There has been no going down. So this is still in demand. Then food control, the food inspectors are there, who would be entering into any nutraceutical company or even sweet shop. For that also the pharmacy graduates and postgraduates are qualified. Academics, you can become a teacher like me. Research is also available. Research now here, my friends, would be different from the R&D. When we talk of R&D, we were talking about the pharma industry. Here, we have a large number of organizations, many of them, most of them supported by the government, where only pure research goes on. So there, their job is only to bring out the new things, but they are not working for any industry, they are working for the government. Then nutraceuticals, as I was telling you, there are probiotics, there are vitamins, there are supplements, there are protein mixes. So this industry also again employs graduates and postgraduates from pharmacy. Then we have cosmeceuticals. One thing is cosmetics or enhancing the appearance. Cosmeceutical is which are meant for, is something which is meant to increase the health of skin or the health of hair or health of eyes, health of your teeth. So that comes under the category of cosmeceuticals. So those are again, the companies which are into cosmeceuticals are those companies also employ pharmacy people. Then any kind of journalism which talks about the pharma profession, pharma industry, pharma academics. So for that also they employ the pharmacy professionals. IPR is the abbreviation for intellectual property rights. And let me share with you one of the major segment of patents all over the world, in India as well as across the globe, is from the medical or pharma sector, right? So who would be more qualified to enter and work in an IPR firm than a pharmacist. So since the pharmacists generally know about the intricacies, they are more bothered about details because their profession demands so. Therefore, the IPR companies also prefer the people from pharmacy or law. So generally these two professions are preferred in the IPR companies also. Then we have hospital pharmacy. This I shared with you already. This is something where a pharmacist is supposed to exercise his or her supremacy in pharmacology about the drugs over and above everybody else in the hospital. Over and above everybody else means it will include the nursing staff, the medical staff, the doctors, and everybody else, because the knowledge of pharmacology amongst the pharmacists is much more than in anybody else, because they are taught pharmacology for almost all 4 years, right? For the rest of the professions, it is taught only for a year. Then hospital quality control is another. We were talking earlier of the quality control of the drugs. Here we are talking of the quality control of the hospital. So are the things properly sanitized? Are the vaccines being administered in a proper manner? Are the the used syringes being disposed of in a proper manner? Is the AC in the NICU means neonatal intensive care unit, is the AC working in the right way? Is the temperature properly set? So all this is the job of a pharmacist. So this is another option, where you can find a job and excel. Then where means which institute you should join. So my friends, whenever you are joining any institute for UG or PG or PhD degree, look for the approvals. As I shared with you earlier also, we are a highly regulated profession. So we are regulated by a council which is known as the Pharmacy Council of India. So you see, anybody who has got a degree from an institute which is not recognized by PCI will not be able to get a job anywhere in our country. So you must ensure that the institute from which you are trying to complete your degree is recognized by Pharmacy Council of India. Similarly, for Ayurvedic pharmacy, the rights lie with Ayush board. So you must find out whether the Ayush board approval is there for the institute or not. And as far as the animal houses are concerned, we have an approval from CPCSCA. So you must look one thing, that the institute in which you are entering is actually having an animal house, because that will give you an edge over the other people. And then second thing, is this animal house approved by CPCSCA? This is very important. Then look at the rankings of the institute, and look at the rankings which are authentic. These days I've seen, every magazine is also giving a ranking and so on. So look for the ranking. Currently it was Ministry, MHRD, Human Resource Development. Now it has been shifted to Ministry of Education. So Ministry of Education gives an NIRF ranking, which is the true authentic ranking given by the Government of India. Then you must look at the profiles of the faculty, the people who are going to teach you. They should themselves be highly accomplished, so that they can bring out the best in you. Then, since our profession is highly research oriented, you should also look at the kind of research the which is going on in the department. Are there any patents filed? Are there any good publications in good journals? Are there any kind of copyrights allotted to the given to the faculty and students of the department? And here, one more thing I would like to share is, don't just look at the the research work done by the faculty. Also look how much participation is there by the students also. So that will tell you what is going to be your future. Then laboratories are our lifeline. So please, this is my request to all of you. Whenever you are going to take admission, look at the laboratory infrastructure of the institute. It should be good. Only then you will be able to learn well. This again is animal house. And these two are very important for any pharmacy education, because here you are going to learn the preclinical things, and here you are going to learn the drugs which are obtained from herbs. So a herbal garden is a must for any pharmacy institute because this is where you are going to learn about the ancient Indian wisdom of medicine. So again, if there are any queries, you are most welcome to ask. So that was all from my side. I can't hear you.
Okay, am I audible to you?
Yeah, you are very much audible. So I think
Okay.
you can stop
Yeah.
screen sharing. Has it been stopped? Stop sharing screen. I think now it is all right.
Okay, thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you. So if there are any queries, I'll be happy to
So if
answer.
any query we will take after the Pankaj sir sessions, okay? You can write your queries in the chat box.
All right. All right.
Thank you so much, ma'am. It's very fruitful session. Okay.
Thank you.
So over to you, Pankaj sir.
May I have the controls, please?
Yeah. Provided, sir.
Yeah, sure. I hope my screen is visible to all. Can you help me out with this thing that my screen is visible?
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. Thank you. So thank you very much, ma'am, for that great insight into the world of pharmacy. It was a learning for me as well, because it's not my subject, but it was great hearing to you. It's always great hearing to you, ma'am. Moving on to an altogether different subject now. Since ma'am was saying this thing very aptly, that this pandemic started way back in 2009 and it's 2022 already. A lot of sectors have been affected by it, but well, pharmacy is something which stood tall against all the odds and is doing really great. But let's move on to something that is more in the future. Let's talk about the positivities, and the positivities are that this lockdown and this a laid back thing will not be there forever. The universities will open, the schools have partially opened, so we are looking at the brighter part of life. So what to expect when you come to lovely professional university? When you join the university, this is something I just want to give you a brief insight into what you can expect when you come to the university. Starting on a very, very positive note, that 11 of our brave hearts participated in the Tokyo Olympics 2020, and they brought laurels to the country. 7 people out of the 15 member Indian squad of the hockey team were from LPU. You talk about a gentleman called Bajrang Punia, you talk about Neeraj Chopra, they are all LPU students. So we have a legacy of not only creating academic leaders, research leaders, but also sports persons. So moving further, when a student comes to the campus, this is the kind of exposure that he or she would be exposed to. The year was 2019, and LPU hosted the 106th edition of the Indian Science Congress, and it was inaugurated by none other than the Prime Minister of India, Shri Narendra Modi ji. We have had dignitaries of such nature, such as His Holiness Dalai Lama, who came to the university some time ago and distributed degrees to the students in the convocation ceremony. 2 former presidents of India and Afghanistan sharing the same stage, giving away, awarding degrees to the students, a moment to cherish for any of the students. The former Finance Minister of India, late Arun Jaitley ji, was here in the campus a few years ago, and he inaugurated a startup school. Venkaiah Naidu ji, the Vice President of India, was here in 2018, once again giving away degrees to the students. Not only politicians, but other intellectuals also thronged the campus, like Gauhar Gopal Das was in the campus giving away live sermons and lessons to the students, to the parents, and to the faculty. Well, these people are also important. The real heroes, which are the real life heroes of our young generation, they also throng the campus, not only to sing and dance, but to interact with the students, sharing their life experiences. So all in all, that was something related to exposure. Well, infrastructure, once again, a very, very important part of education. A good infrastructure is the need of the hour. What you're seeing on the screen is a 14 block joined together building. It houses the central library of the university, a marvel of a building. This is the auditorium, indoor auditorium of LPU, housing 2,500 people in a single go. High-tech labs, you're seeing over here is a computer lab. We have got numerous number of labs of such nature at LPU. Library, we have got multiple libraries, a central library, and every department has its own automated library. The heart of the campus has got a mall within the campus, and let me take you a sneak peek into the interiors of the mall. Well, that's the interiors of the mall, the Providence stores and everything, where the students can buy their stuff. It houses a fully equipped gymnasium with international trainers. It has got some recreational facilities in it, such as the bowling alley and things like that. God forbid anybody falls ill, but if any student falls ill, we are prepared, we are ready with a hospital within the campus. It's a 25-bedder hospital, and with resident medical doctor staff, even a dental chair at your exposure. Well, we have got an outdoor auditorium where we have all the cultural fest and everything. What you're seeing over here on your screen is the same one. That's a vision of the lovely professional university under a blue sky, and it is said that we are one of the cleanest and the greenest campuses in India, owing to which we have been awarded as amongst the top 10 cleanest campuses in India by none other than the Union Ministry of Human Resource Development of India. If you're a sporting freak, well, then LPU is the right place to be. We have got ample lot of infrastructure as when it comes to sporting facilities, like what you're seeing over here is an Olympic-size swimming pool, and we even have a shooting range. You name a court, we have got it, volleyball, basketball, and so on and so forth. And we even have a squash court. So what you're seeing over here is an aerial view of the indoor sporting complex that we have at LPU. Residential facility, you'll be astonished to know that in LPU we have got more than 20,000 people staying in the campus, within the campus. That is when the things were absolutely perfectly all right, then students, faculty members all put together, we were housing more than 20,000 students in a single go. Some of the amenities that we are providing at the campus, like we have got banks, we have got ATMs, numerous number of ATMs, the Wi-Fi. It's a completely Wi-Fi campus. We even have a post office, inbuilt in-house post office, sorry, and gymnasiums, as I told you, hospital, convenience stores, and so on and so forth. So this is something which I wanted to tell you, or a bit of a sneak peek into the campus of lovely professional university. This is what you can expect when you come to the campus. And if you want to write to us, if you want to visit us, you can always visit us at www.lpu.in, and you can also write to us at admissions@lpu.co.in. So I think that's all from my side. I sign off, and back to you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. So I request to Rishabh sir to take up the queries.
Yeah, thank you so much, ma'am. So now, time to take up the queries. Okay, yes, lots of queries are there. Let me check. Right. Monica ma'am, first question is to you. Student wants to know that there was COVID from last 2 years. So how, as a university, we tackled with the classes, as the classes were in online mode. So how we tackled with the practical part, and so can you guide the applicants? Pankaj sir, can you guide the applicant for the same?
Well, we had a lot of demo sessions for the students, and classes have already been in the hybrid mode. We are running the classes in a hybrid mode so that the student has does not lose upon his academic curriculum and everything. So we have had demonstrations. We have given a lot of demonstrations to the students covering the practical part, and we are running the university. We ran the university in hybrid mode, but unfortunately, the things went bad a few months back in January, and we had to close down. But once again, we are quite confident that the things are getting better, and now we are expecting the students to come on campus, and this matter would be resolved once and for all. With regards to coming on the campus, studying on the campus, doing their practicals on the campus, but slowly and steadily, we are coming back to normalcy, and you can expect the same thing from us in the times to come.
Thank you so much, sir. Very well answered. I hope you got your answer. Sir, next question is many students, this is very common question from the attendees. They want to know the process, how they can actually apply for B pharmacy in LPU. If you can put some light on this.
Well, applying in B pharmacy applying for B pharmacy at LPU. First of all, I must tell you about the eligibility criteria. The eligibility criteria is pretty simple. A student of science background, PCM, PCB, both will do. Physics, chemistry, mathematics, physics, chemistry, biology, both will do. 60% marks are required in the 12th standard as an aggregate, and then the student has to appear for an exam called the LPU NEST, a lovely professional university national entrance and scholarship test. That's the test that the student has to appear and qualify. And once the student qualifies this particular test, if the student qualifies this test with good marks, then obviously the student is in for a scholarship as well. But it's a prerequisite that the student has to qualify this exam. Once the student qualifies this particular exam, he or she is eligible for admissions. For more details, for specific test related details, that what will be the syllabi, what will be the subjects like, then I would recommend that on your screen you're seeing our website. That's www.lpu.in. So the students are requested to visit our website and get to know about the further details of the test. But broadly speaking, that's the modus operandi to take admission. First a test, and qualify the test, and then you can take admission. So the basic modus operandi of taking admission is what I told.
Thank you so much, Pankaj sir. I hope students got their answer. So it's now I would like to invite Suman ma'am for vote of thanks. Thank you so much, sir. And for rest of the queries, we will be connecting you through our email team. We have noted all the queries and we will revert you back very soon. Over to you, Suman ma'am.
Thank you so much, Rishabh sir. So, experts, your air of research, your depth of understanding the topic, and your ability to present the topic in such an interesting way produced one of the most wonderful afternoon for all the attendees. On behalf of all the attendees of this webinar, I want to thank you for your insightful presentation. Hopefully, the attendees found this webinar to be valuable and will be able to utilize the information provided in this webinar you're in academic decision making. I'm obliged and once again thankful to all the experts strengthening this platform. Signing off for the day. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.